Welcome back, everybody. It's Melanie here. We are going to jump into the topic of relationships with other people. Such a huge topic. And how would our lives be different if we could master this topic? Now, I've been saying it for a while, and I'm going to continue to say it. I believe it all starts with the relationship we have with ourselves. And if we were to boil that down even further, I believe it all boils down to love. Because remember, at our core, we are worthy, we are loved, and there is absolutely nothing we can do about it. And the same is true for every single individual on the planet. They are loved, they are worthy, and there is nothing they can do about it. Now, let's just think about this ideally for a minute. If I walked through life and I believed 100% that I was loved no matter what, and all the people in my life walked through their life believing that at their core they were loved no matter what, and that love just overflows out of myself and out of each individual, and it spews onto everyone around us, and we're just all loving each other. It becomes this huge love fest, doesn't it? And then out pops rainbows and unicorns, and everyone sings Kumbaya, and we live happily ever after. And then reality strikes. We start operating out of our humanness. Instead of working from the inside out and starting with the belief that we are loved and we are worthy no matter what, and letting that overflow out of us, instead, we operate out of that outer circle. We forget about that inner circle and we start operating out of our humanness, out of our past hurts, out of our past pain, out of our flaws as humans. And so this is what I believe happens whenever we operate out of that outer circle. I believe we start reaching externally to try to fill the hole inside of us. And so we start reaching externally. We start trying to manipulate our environments. We start trying to control the people outside of us, and we try to get them to fill this hole. We put all the responsibility on them to try to make us feel loved. And other people do this as well. What a messy reality we live in. Now, I have found that these 4 fundamental beliefs, when we can believe them, it helps to navigate what it is to be human and what it is to live with other humans, because it is going to be messy. And so it's going to be hard enough as it is, but whenever we can adopt these 4 beliefs, it helps us to navigate that messy and make it a little bit easier along the way. So, number 1, living with humans is going to require hurt. I am going to hurt other people, just like you are going to hurt other people. Also, other people are going to hurt you. It's going to happen. Number 2, as hurtful as it is, deep down, these are our fundamental needs: to be loved, to connect, to be seen, to see other people, to love other people, to connect with other people. Ultimately, even though it's really, really hard and really, really painful at times, we still need each other. And so, while living with other humans and choosing to interact with them day in and day out and getting up every morning and trying again despite our pain is definitely a risk. It is a risk to do life with other humans. However, it is so worth it, because we do have these brief glimpses of connection and love and being seen and being understood. And that is what life is all about. That is what we are, whether we like it or not, that is what we need down deep. Number 3 is we cannot, I'm going to repeat, we cannot control other people. Man, if we could, that would be a completely different life, wouldn't it? But we cannot control other people. And honestly, I believe that we really overestimate the power that we have in this area. Many times we think we can make other people feel a certain way, or we can make other people act a certain way. And when it all boils down to it, we can't. Now, we're going to talk about how to influence other people and empower other people and impact other people for sure. But ultimately, we cannot control another human being no matter how hard we try. And then that brings me to number 4 is we can control ourselves. I believe we underestimate this a lot. I think many times we give all of our power and our ability to be able to control ourselves, we give it to other people. And so we assign the responsibility to someone else to make us feel better. And we assign the responsibility to someone else to help us to behave a certain way. We assign responsibility for our actions and our behaviors. We kind of blame it sometimes on other people. And that's just not the case. We have a lot more power than we believe that we do. Given those last 2 realities, we can control ourselves. We can control our thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and actions. And we cannot control other people, their thoughts, their actions, their behaviors, their feelings. Given those 2 things, I want to give you a little pro tip. I have found that it is a lot easier to navigate this world with other humans when we separate our stuff from others' stuff. So when we separate our outer circle, our thoughts, our feelings, our behaviors from other people's outer circle and their thoughts, their feelings, their behaviors, it becomes a lot easier to navigate all of the interactions that we have with one another. In this video, I am just doing a bird's eye view of relationships, and we are going to dive into each of these subtopics over the next several videos. However, I want to finish with one final thought, and I want you to contemplate this final thought as we are going through all the next videos and as you are contemplating all the different aspects of relationships. Here is what I believe is our secret weapon. It's kind of 2 parts. I believe that our shield is this belief about ourselves. Remember, I always say relationships with others start from the relationship you have with yourself, and that boils down to love. Because when you believe that you are worthy at your core and you are loved no matter what, it changes everything. You get to compare what's being thrown at you, whether it's circumstances or others' opinions or things that your actions that you have even done that's maybe caused some circumstances. You get to compare all of those things being thrown at you to the belief that you are loved no matter what. And so when these negative things happen or these negative things are thrown at you, you can kind of shield off yourself, because many times it feels like arrows and it feels like, oh man, that was something that that's something I completely lost my lovability for. Oh, I am no longer worthy now. And all these things with life can happen to us, but we always have to go back to the core. The core doesn't change. The second secret weapon, drumroll please, is love. Now, I know that sounds mushy-gushy, but I have an argument for why love is fierce and intense. I have found love always wins. Now, I don't know about you, but if I were to go into any battle in any circumstance and I want an automatic win, I would want to know what that secret weapon is. And I believe it's love. I believe love always wins. And here's why. I want you to think about love as being selfish, first and foremost. We don't always love other people for their benefit. We choose to love for our benefit. If we could choose any feeling in the entire world to feel towards someone else, why would we choose something that makes us feel icky? Now, that does not mean that we love each other like this. We are absolutely going to talk about boundaries. It is not love to allow yourself to get hurt and to be so close to someone that it hurts. We can absolutely still hold boundaries and choose to love someone from across the fence, from across the house, from across the country. Here's a great example of this. Maybe you have come across a child or a toddler. Maybe it's even been your own child or toddler. And they're in that stage where they're learning about human interaction and how sometimes they don't get what they want and sometimes that's painful. And they look at you as their mom or their dad and they say, I don't love you anymore. We know as parents that we get to look right back at them and say, I still love you. I love you no matter what. No matter if you are mad at me, I still get to choose to love you. No matter if you make poor choices, I still love you. There's nothing that you can do that will make me stop loving you. It's really easy to see in this circumstance. And so many people say, well, it's different in other circumstances. And I'm gonna argue and I'm gonna challenge you over the next several videos that it is not different at all. We absolutely get to continue to choose to love anyone and anything. We get to choose to feel love. Think about love as a skill. If I can learn to walk and I can learn to type and I can learn all these other different skills, I want you to think about love as a skill. If I can learn all of those things, then I can also learn to love. And if love is a skill, then it can expand. You can practice it. You can get better at it.